Just 4 days ago, when Bitcoin was $32,000 and looking absolutely ready to bust, we made the case for an imminent bullish breakout of this falling wedge pattern. And immediately the bears scrambled to type $16,000 imminent with their fingers covered in Cheetos dust and their butts sore from diaper rash. But now the bears have officially been diddled. After a ginormous $1.1 billion Bitcoin short squeeze, Bitcoin has managed to break above key resistances that has been holding Bitcoin down for 2 months, and now has the opportunity to flip those levels into support. But was this the real breakout, or is there something much bigger in store? I'm your host, Bobby, blasting on the chest of the bears, and it seems as though the breakout turned into a massive mummy makeout after all. And with this massive breakout, Bitcoin is in a much better position, and clearly the bulls are in control right now. After weeks of bears screaming sub $20,000 was imminent, even as recently as yesterday, and I'm sure even right now, it looks as though the bears may have slurped up a little too much of their own juice. But what this means for price over this new upcoming month is absolutely huge. So if you get a new channel, make sure to like, subscribe, these absolutely time-sensitive alerts, and without any further ado, let's pump on in. Wow, so as we talked about here, guys, over $1.1 billion worth of short positions were liquidated in just the last 24 hours. So many people over the past few weeks have been so confident that Bitcoin was going to be plummeting below 20,000 US dollars. Specifically, a lot of people were commenting like 16,000 is what I saw a lot yesterday in my comments. Overall, it had become too bearish, just like 2 months ago, it was too bullish. And the same exact thing, in my opinion, happened back on May 19th, where we have way too many people bullish, and the shorts took advantage of that. And same exact thing here, guys. But is this the very beginning of something much bigger? That is what we're going to be talking about in this video. As we are seeing that momentum shift here, we've been talking about this pretty often for the last like 2 or 3 months, is the MACD now finally crossing back over into bullish territory here. If we go to the daily chart, you can see very nice setup right now. And it's been kind of in this kind of position for the past month and a half or so. And it's finally coming to a point where things can get pretty juicy pretty fast. And holding it to 50-week has just been an absolutely very important thing. Overall, this has to be said. Once we had that drop just a few days ago, a little less than a week ago, back here on the 22nd, the 21st and 22nd, or the 20th and the 21st, where we had Bitcoin initiate that move after 3 weeks teetering to the downside here. Once we had this move and failed to set a lower low, you can see here, this was actually the highest of our last 3 bottoms. Once that happened, the bulls fully took control. They 100% had the momentum, and we saw an absolutely huge move ramp up, shattering the 21-day, 50-day, and now we're kind of just inching up on these long-term charts to approach this 21-week, which is absolutely a make-or-break factor when it comes to bullishness. Pretty much, if Bitcoin breaks the 21-week, I don't think anybody on the planet is going to be bearish except for the handful of bearish YouTubers that are always bearish. Keep in mind, they were bearish when Bitcoin was at $3,000 and $4,000 and rode it all the way up to 65K. And over the past few months, they've had their time in the sun as it's been bearish. However, it seems as though that's coming to an end. As I'm recording this video, we're having a nice little move up here, but guys, we have to be careful of a few things. But let's be honest, we absolutely sliced through a huge resistance zone, 36 to 37,000, absolutely sliced right through it. But now what's good about this is that if we have an inevitable pullback, we now have that to look for as massive support. This is the point of control here, right in between 37 and 35, right at about 36,000. Slice right through that. So with any potential pullbacks along the way, we have now so much very good built up support below us that has been built through absolute pain and tears over the past 2.5 months as Bitcoin has battled within this pattern. And as well, before we go any further, we obviously, if you've been watching the channel the last few days, you know we've been talking about this falling wedge, which has absolutely been spot on at breaking out here. But this is something huge as well, and I've talked about this many times over the past year. The probability of symmetrical triangles having fakeouts and reversing to the opposite side. We were talking about this over the past few weeks, and lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. And now, because of this, I'm going to be further biased in the future to think that this will keep happening. Because for some reason, symmetrical triangles very often will fake us out. They will have a drop to a certain level, which seemingly this looks like a breakout to the downside, but then very quickly reverse completely to the opposite direction. And if you guys have been watching the channel for a couple of weeks, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These symmetrical triangles, for whatever reason, seem to have fake outs extremely consistently and more so than any other pattern that I've seen. And again, I made the case for this back a couple of weeks ago, but here we are. And that's basically exactly what happened. We had a breakout to the downside, which ended up being a fake out, a bear trap, and just absolutely blasted us the other direction. Okay. And specifically, once this failed to set a lower low, then I think any intelligent bears out there should have immediately been like, wow, this is this is probably going to be a swing to the opposite direction. Maybe I shouldn't be short right here. And you had the opportunity around 32,000 where it stayed for a few days. But yeah, quickly swung the other way. And as well, we have Ethereum and the altcoin market now back above the 2150 and 200-day moving averages, as you can see with Ethereum. And then this is the entire altcoin market cap. The entire cryptocurrency market cap right now is battling the 200-day, which is just huge. But I think the area where we should all get extremely bullish here with Bitcoin, obviously is going to be breaking this higher high here, which we failed back in the middle of June, around 42,000. But as well, I think that once we actually break 40K, whether it's sooner, or whether it's later, breaking 40K and then ultimately breaking 45 is going to be absolutely game-changing. And breaking 45K, I think, just like I said back when we were breaking 20K for the first time since the very beginning of 2018, right about here, once we actually break those last resistances, we absolutely springboard to those all-time highs and beyond, especially in a bullish environment in a bull market like we are in now. So basically, if we approach 46K and we break through 46K, I think it will be extremely quick before we're actually setting new all-time highs. So basically what I'm saying is we don't have to get to 60K before we get bullish. Breaking 46K is like that last giant confirmation where it's like, okay, this is going to get very bullish very quick. And as I said yesterday, this market gets bullish extremely fast. Moves happen extremely fast. All the biggest moves are consolidated in the shortest amounts of time. And yesterday was the absolute perfect example of that. Literally the perfect example. And yesterday morning I tweeted, one thing 2021 is missing is an absolutely gigantic Bitcoin short squeeze. Maybe sooner than later. Apparently I should have said maybe sooner rather than later. But anyway, about 6 to 8 hours after I tweeted that, massive short squeeze. But absolutely, the momentum has swung very much to the opposite side now, and the bears for the most part have been absolutely destroyed. And again, this is going to take some time most likely, but I said that yesterday and we absolutely sliced through 36 to 37. But the good thing now is that if we do get that pullback or a retest, we have a lot of support below us that has been beefed up so much over the last 2.5 months that simply was not there prior. This was like the only area we had any support because it was our first time breaking these levels, and now have this entire area too. So moving forward, we can actually get some of these blasts. We have some very good support below us, and Bitcoin is looking absolutely ready to bust. For the most part, everything's still looking on track. Things got a little dumpier than people expected. Again, I think there are a lot of reasons. The market is fundamentally way different than it was in any other bear market or any other bull market, just in general. It's way different now. There's way more participants as well. And again, there's just way more variables. So it cannot be predicted exactly, but so far at this point, things are still chugging along very well, and the Bitcoin dreams are alive. Not to mention, fundamentally, everything's bullish. People ask, like, fundamentally, what does that mean? Well, just literally everything. Are people buying Bitcoin? Are people adopting Bitcoin? Are they using it? Are they more and more people getting into it? The answer to all of those questions is yes. So while I think it's okay to be bearish on Bitcoin at certain points, you have to be very, very quick to reverse your opinion, because being bearish is the losing choice in the history of Bitcoin. If you were bearish on Bitcoin in 2010, you would probably be very depressed right now. If you were bearish on Bitcoin in 2015 and you were offered to buy it in 2015 and you didn't buy it, that would be a huge mistake. So long term, the bears have only been wrong. And realistically, in the long-term outlook of Bitcoin, if you've been bearish, you've lost. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, turn on these absolute time-sensitive alerts. And if you're interested in earning APY, TA trading, any kind of bonuses like that, make sure to check out the description below. But without any further ado, that's it for me. Bye-bye.